or Bin from independent TV, giving you the lowdown on which TV shows are binge-worthy and which ones are bin-worthy. This week, we'll be discussing crime thriller Tokyo Vice and the new season of Barry.
And we'll introduce you to our picks of hidden gems we think you should be watching.
Annabel, we are back.
We're back.
Feels good, right?
I know, there's a lot of TV we need to discuss.
Yeah, mate, I've been having no outlet. No one's listening to me. This was my
sole purpose in life to listen to you.
Yeah, exactly.
So what have you been watching then? Tell me.
Well, you'd never ask. I've been watching a show called Tokyo Vice, and it's an adaptation of a memoir by a guy called Jake Adelstein, who, basically the memoir details his experience as an American crime reporter in Tokyo at the turn of the millennium. As time goes on, he gets caught up in the Yakuza and mysterious deaths and murders that keep happening. And the reason why I'm excited about this show is because it's Michael Mann's name is attached to it. Now, Michael Mann is a director who I love, very dear to my heart. He's directed films like Manhunter, Heat with Pacino and De Niro, which is a favourite of mine, and obviously Collateral with Tom Cruise, amongst others. While he doesn't direct all of it, he directs the premiere, and it is essentially just like a short Michael Mann film because it's an hour long. He produces the rest of it as well. I think what I like about the marriage of Mann with the material is that he conveys crime in such a thrilling way, even though there's not a lot or a ton of action sequences. It's more about the situation and how he directs and captures that situation. And here with Adelstein, who's played by Ansel Elgort, it's business as usual for Michael Mann. So if you are a fan of him, you have to check out this show. Off screen, Ansel Elgort has been mired in sexual misconduct allegations, which you can find out more about on The Independent. But on screen, he's not an actor I have ever liked. He feels like he's this young guy who's playing at being an actor. But the material around him is strong enough for it not to be too distracting. Also, the support. I mean, Ken Watanabe, who's a Japanese actor. He's got a great mysterious role to begin with, but he comes into it more as it goes on. He's kind of like a father figure to Adelstein. He's a detective.
With information, everything you do has consequences. There's always a cost.
He's so cool. He just eats charisma. But for me, he's not even the best. Best thing in it is Rachel Keller, who was so brilliant in Fargo season 2. She's got this like steely magnetism that I think is needed in a show like this, actually. And there are some real fun foot chase sequences, which I know it sounds really weird, but I'm a sucker for a foot chase sequence filmed from TV. Sounds really weird, but there's a lot.
Love a good foot chase.
Yeah, love a foot chase. I mean, I don't like being chased or chasing because that requires too much effort, but I like watching that happen.
What about like the mood of it? Is it, because I feel like we're just like inundated with like kind of crime dramas. Is it kind of Scandi noir, or is it like Broadchurch vibes?
It's got that classic. It feels like it's set in dystopia, but it feels quite futuristic. I think Tokyo in cinema and TV it kind of lends itself to that futuristic feeling. So
is Tokyo Vice a binge or a bin?
It's a binge, but it's one that you'll want to do at night. It's that kind of show that lends itself to being watched after hours with the curtains closed, the lights off. You don't even want street lights pouring in.
You like busting my balls, huh?
It is a great joy of my life.
It's a very glowing start to Binge or Bin, and I'm really hoping you can continue the enthusiasm here, Annabel.
Yes, I will be continuing that because my review of Barry season 3 is glowing. It returned for its 3rd season last month, and it's kind of on weekly releases after a 3-year hiatus. For those who don't know, Barry's first season came out in 2018, and it's this dark comedy crime drama that was created by Alec Berg, who has this very impressive string of credentials to his name: Seinfeld, Silicon Valley, Curb Your Enthusiasm. And so he writes it together with Bill Hader. Most people will know from SNL, but he's also done lots of blockbusters like Trainwreck and Superbad as one of the cops. So as well as writing, Hader plays the main character, Barry, who is this Marine who comes home and he is depressed and he kind of turns into this low-level killer for hire. And he is hired to do a job in LA when he, out of the blue, stumbles upon an acting class, and it kind of opens up the idea of another life for him, a life where he doesn't have to be murdering people for a living. And I mean, he's a bad actor, but it really gives you like an insight into his like humanity. And so it becomes a story of like him juggling the pressures of like this newfound hobby and this want for a better life with all of the duties and responsibilities of being a hitman.
We've both done terrible things in our lives, but everybody deserves a second chance. I believe that you can be the version of yourself that you want to be.
It feels like a really absurd premise, but I think what Barry does so well is that I feel like a lot of like dark comedy dramas, it can feel really cringy when they're just trying too hard to be both like emotional and funny. Whereas I think Barry it feels really seamless. There's actually that great comment piece that Louis, our colleague, wrote about Barry, and he kind of talks about it being like a descendant of, you know, prestige TV, like anti-hero, like The Sopranos and Mad Men and Breaking Bad. And I think that Barry definitely like fits into that genre. I think it is kind of top tier television. It just wouldn't work without having a cast like this. Obviously, I'm a huge Bill Hader fan, and I think in a similar way to like Jason Bateman, who kind of brings those like funny notes of his Arrested Development character to a very serious show like Ozark. I think Bill Hader has that same quality and that same skill where he's able to bring like an SNL kind of edge to his kind of really sad role in this. And there is also an amazing cast of actors kind of backing him up in this. In 2019, for like the second season of Barry, out of the 6 nominees for Emmys for the best actor in a supporting role, 3 of them were for Barry. And I feel like that is just testament to how good they are. So you've got Henry Winkler, who people know from Happy Days and also Arrested Development. And Stephen Root kind of proves himself as one of the best character actors of our time. And also, I think a special shout out to Anthony Carrigan, who I've not seen before this, but he provides a lot of the show's like comic relief.
This is some high praise.
It is high praise. I love Bill Hader and I love Barry.
Imagine, I'm like, so binge or bin? Like, bin.
It's an absolute binge.
I don't do this! I don't live! I have to do this to live!
So yeah, let's move on to hidden gems.
My hidden gem is Escape at Dannemora. Escape at Dannemora is a limited series that first aired in 2018, and I think, again, very little seen in the UK. This is a real-life prison break drama. It happened in 2015, not too long ago, where 2 prisoners escaped from prison, and the ensuing manhunt, which I won't tell you how it ended in case you don't know, because if you do watch it, it takes on, it's extraordinary, the twists and turns. These prisoners are played by Paul Dano and Benicio del Toro, who is on wild form. I mean, some of the delivery of his lines, you're wanting to be winding it back and getting someone in from the other room just to show them, because it's quite wild, his delivery. He's untamed. And Patricia Arquette, who is on unrecognisable Emmy-nominated form as Tilly, who is a prison worker who leads quite a sad life, who gets manipulated by these guys into helping aid their escape. The acting is just top-notch across the board. But Ben Stiller directs all 7 episodes, and I know Ben Stiller's directed a lot in the past. The Cable Guy, Tropic Thunder, Secret Life of Walter Mitty, but these are comedies, right? This was a kind of a mid-career swerve into TV drama, and he does it. He like absolutely nails it. It's thrillingly directed, and also on the flip side, it captures the smaller character moments with an intensity that is rarely seen in other TV shows.
You focus on something in your mind, you feel it in your heart, and you commit to it, it will come true.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a very neat segue into mine, which is Severance, which is on Apple TV. Severance is the best thing that Apple have done so far. Talking about that connection, this was also created by Ben Stiller, another feather in his cap, because it is incredible. It's just phenomenal. The show's premise is a little tricky to explain, but it's essentially a psychological thriller about office employees at a company called Lumen. They choose to have a procedure which kind of disconnects the part of their brain which goes to work from the part of the brain that stays home and has fun. Neither parts have recollection of the other one's life.
That would be problematic for binge or binge. Because you'd watch
Yeah,
a show
I mean-
and you'd come to work and then you wouldn't remember it.
I know. I mean, that's the only reason I'd never do it. For the sake of binge or bin. Yeah, so you've got Adam Scott, who plays Mark, who is one of these employees who undergoes the procedure. He's mourning the death of his wife, and it's actually just a lot easier if you're living 8 hours of your day not even knowing your wife ever existed. And you've also got newcomer Britt Lowry, John Turturro, and Zach Cherry kind of make up the core four. So I think what's so special about Severance is that the premise is really interesting, obviously, but it never just stops short of that. Like it's thought through it so well that the premise kind of like infiltrates all storylines in a way that doesn't feel heavy-handed. It feels very natural, and there are layers which make it feel like it's not that far off.
I've seen Severance and I completely agree with everything you've said again, and I think it's a high concept show that's worth your time. It's not one of those ones, I mean, the scope's blown wide open in the finale, right? It's wild. But I think if people are worried it's too high concept for them, give it a go, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I confer upon you the advanced role of department chief. Congratulations. A handshake is available upon request.
Thank you. May I have a handshake?
Well, God, I think we've just been quite enthusiastic. We've been away because we've just given a load of shows there to binge. Thanks so much for watching Binge or Bin. We recommended some great shows for you there. Please do join us again next time. Like and comment below and subscribe for more from Independent TV.